Switching cameras. So I'm seeing them online on YouTube and on Facebook. Check it out. Okay, testing the chat. We live. Yes.
Do we have info?
What? Not yet. Okay, so the chat seems to be working. Some.
Wisconsin house. Hello, Wisconsin.
Hey guys, welcome. So my name is Marina. I'm the founder of Creatively, and tonight we are going to be painting watermelon sugar.
Yeah,
I think that's what it's called. I'm going to show it to you guys here. So this is the painting for tonight. And we actually have two special guests with us. So we have Alex, my fiance, the mysterious voice in the background.
Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone.
And we also have Yana Berisheva joining us tonight, which I'm super excited about. So she's actually a good friend of mine, an artist, a designer, and a co-owner of Kurichka Gifts, which is handmade gifts inspired by Russian and Ukrainian culture. And she's also the co-author of More Than Borscht, which is a Russian and Ukrainian cookbook. So I'm super excited to have her here with us tonight.
Hi, I'll be the second voice in the background.
The second mysterious voice. Awesome, guys. So we usually give about 10 minutes for you to set up, grab your drinks, grab all your supplies. And in the meantime, we'll go over my setup over here and then we'll get started shortly.
Let's do it.
All right, I see Wisconsin in the house. Welcome, Chelsea.
We got Brooklyn.
Got Brooklyn in the house. Is anyone from Queens?
Michigan, I see. Oh, Barbados.
So we are streaming from Queens, New York tonight and always.
Here we go. We got our international Canadians in the house.
As opposed to the local Canadians.
Welcome,
Yeah.
guys.
Trinidad, okay. We got a nice presence.
Okay, so we have a international crew. I love it. All right, guys. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna go over my setup. So we have our 12 by 12 canvas.
12 by 12 canvas. Check.
Yana, you could also do the checks if you want.
Check.
No pressure.
Yeah, no, I got it for sure. 12 by 12 canvas.
So we have our palette paper facing shiny side up.
Shiny side up.
Check.
Check.
You guys are so in sync. This is awesome. We have 6 colors of paint. So we have phthalo blue, yellow, white, black, brown, and red. Notice how I didn't say blue, I just said phthalo blue because it's just my favorite color.
It's one of our favorite creative blues. Check.
Check.
So we have a cup with water.
Water cup. Preferably labeled.
Yes,
Water cup.
preferably labeled with
Yeah.
paint water.
I'm gonna try not to drink
Pro
from this.
tip.
Pro tip, do not drink from this. And then we have 2 brushes. We have a small round head brush size 4 and then a large flathead brush size 16.
Small round head, large flat. Check and check.
Okay, we have paper towels.
Little personal edition, I like it. Check.
Not really, but okay. And then we also have our instructions and sample piece so we could know what we're painting.
Essentials, check and check.
And then we also have an optional tool tonight. So this is a sponge And if you guys purchased the Creatively box, this was actually included as in your box as an optional tool. So if you dip it in the water, and you actually can't see my water cup in here, but if you dip it in the water, it expands into a full-size sponge.
The miracle of science.
Magic.
And it's best to
That
do
is.
this before you put any paint into your water, just so it's nice and clean for now, at least. So I'm just gonna wring it out, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like.
Looks like toast.
Toast, okay. I never got that one before. And then we also have our optional adult beverage. So tonight we actually went really fancy. Yana, do you want to tell us what you came up with?
Yeah, I used the ingredients I was given by Marina, which were a piece of watermelon, tequila, seltzer, honey. I think that's pretty much it.
Mint.
Mint, right? Mint.
Most important piece.
Muddled some mint with the watermelon. It's so good.
And it's such a beautiful presentation.
It looks delicious.
And Alex, what are you drinking tonight?
Tonight I'm going back to an old classic, little Yamazaki.
Okay. Always with
Not
the
as
bring in the
fancy.
Yamazaki.
I'm not fancy watermelon like all of y'all, but you know.
Maybe you'll switch later. Who knows?
Who knows?
All right, we have New Jersey in the house.
Louis?
All right, guys, so we're going to give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get started.
You didn't show the easel.
I didn't
From a
show the
box.
easel. Thank you. So if you guys ordered the Creatively box, which comes with all of these supplies really easily right to your door, you also have the box, which could be folded into an easel. So all you do, and I always forget to show this step. Thank you, Alex. All you do is you just fold the lid back and you just put it down. And you don't even need any tape or anything. You just put your canvas on the back here or on this side, and it actually holds really well.
You could do that with a pizza box, I guess.
You
also.
can't do that with a pizza box.
If you're,
But you could also
if you're
do it
really
with a
desperate,
Creatively
yeah.
box. All right, guys, how are we doing? Are we all set up?
Do you think it's anyone's first time painting?
I don't know. So if you guys are just joining us, please say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're from. Let us know what you're drinking tonight. What
If it's
else?
your
And
first
if
time,
you're a
right?
first-time painter, thank you.
Or, you know.
Alex is keeping me in check.
Just trying to keep the train on the track.
So I do want to mention, guys, we may or may not have a giveaway tonight. I'm not sure yet, but it's going to be decided later on. So the way that you win this giveaway is we are going to choose a random person from a random comment picker online. So if you comment in the chat, you have a chance of winning. And I'll announce, if this does happen later tonight, I'll announce what the giveaway is. So the more you comment, the more chances you have of winning the giveaway.
Very mysterious.
It's very mysterious. I like to keep people in suspense.
You know, a lot of first timers. At least with a couple with us, a couple first timers in general. Welcome to
Woohoo!
everyone.
Welcome, first-time painters.
Welcome to the fun zone.
It's my favorite thing to see. Is first time painters.
Yeah.
Like yes, do it.
For sure. And this painting, to some, may actually look a little bit hard, but it's actually super easy, and it's actually one of the most fun paintings, I think. And I'm not biased at all, but it's actually it's one of my favorite paintings. So I'm super excited to paint with you guys tonight. All right, guys. So the first thing we're gonna do, and I have two people helping me with this. This is so awesome. So we're gonna raise our brush in our right hand or left, and please repeat after me. I promise
I promise
to relax and have fun,
To relax and have fun.
to not judge my painting
to not judge my painting
or the painting of others,
or the painting of others,
and to be fearless.
and
To be
be fearless.
Wow, that was really in sync, guys.
Listen,
We're
we
doing it our
each
own
needed
way.
to emphasize our fearlessness.
You're doing it creatively.
We're creatively.
I love
That's
it.
we absolutely are.
All right, guys. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a not so easy step, but we got this, right?
dive
We got
right in.
this.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna
Let's do
dive
this.
right in and we're gonna draw out our watermelon. Okay, so I am gonna mix a light green color. So I'm gonna take my yellow, a little bit of blue, and then just a little bit of white.
Just a little bit.
Can you guys hear my brush strokes or not yet? Or not really? Okay, so I'm just gonna draw a big triangle on my canvas. So just make sure that you're being fearless in the step and you're not making it too small. So you wanna go big right away. Okay, so I'm gonna draw,
Go big or go home.
go big or go home, exactly. I'm
Is
gonna
it semi-centered?
It's pretty centered on the canvas, I would say. And for this part, don't really worry about making your lines all perfect. You're gonna cover it up with paint anyway, so just loosen up a bit, and if you mess up, you could always do an additional line elsewhere.
Right, maybe you'll have multiple watermelon.
That's right, Alex.
Boom goes the dynamite.
And then I'm just gonna do a round line on the bottom. So this is my piece, and I could actually fix it here because maybe I want it to be a little bit more round.
There you go.
And then you guys could do the side of your watermelon. So I'm just gonna add another line right next to it. And this is all just approximation of what my watermelon's gonna look like in the end.
My brush strokes.
I can, I think.
It feels so nice to paint.
When was the last time? I was gonna say when was the first time you painted, but when was the last time you painted?
Probably like 3 weeks ago, but
Okay.
but like I've been so during quarantine I really wasn't making any art because it was just depressing. So now I'm trying to get back into the
To get back
habit.
into it?
But it's so feels so smooth.
Yeah.
I hope you guys also feel like pleasant about this.
I know I get a lot of people saying how relaxing it is to just
Mm-hmm.
take this time for yourself and just zone out for an hour and a half or two and just
Yeah,
do something creative.
it's really good for your brain.
So guys, I'm gonna mix some more yellow, not yellow, but a light green. So it's gonna be yellow, a little bit of blue, and then a little bit of white. And I'm just gonna dab my brush onto the canvas in different directions. Just kind of laying down the paint and getting kind of messy with it. I'm sure you guys could hear this. So I'm just laying down some of this color. And this is gonna be the bokeh. Is that what it's called? Bokeh? Bokeh?
Bouquet?
Bokeh?
I don't know.
If you guys know the exact pronunciation of this. So this is the background of this painting. So it's a a bokeh technique, which is actually found in photography, and it's basically the blur behind an object. So we're going to be creating that with paint. So I'm just dabbing some of this green, and I'm going to vary up the colors a bit. So I could add a little bit more yellow to it, and then add this lighter green here as well. And then I could also get darker and add a darker green into the background as well. And I'm just gonna continue covering up the background up until around here. So I could draw an imaginary line to myself to know where this green is gonna end, approximately.
Is that like right at the bottom of the triangle?
Yeah,
The line.
yeah. And it's not perfect.
Is it a straight line, or does it kind of go with the curve of the cross?
It's a straight line.
It's like the horizon line.
It's the horizon line.
The table.
Yeah.
It's not imaginary though. But
But maybe I'll change it up and I'll make it a little bit higher.
I'm sorry to call you out.
All right, so then I could add maybe a little bit more white to my green, and then add more of this lighter green into here. So I'm going right over my original color, so it's kind of blending a little bit. And I'm just continuing to cover up the background, and it's looking pretty messy. So I'll show you guys. So it's not perfect at all. It's actually pretty messy when you look up close, and just have fun with it. Yana, so I did semi-promise that you may share a pickled watermelon recipe here, if you do remember it, or if it's in your cookbook.
It's actually not in the cookbook, but I did recently upload it to our site, so you could find it. But I will summarize it. You know when. But it is on our site. If you go on, it's actually kurочка.store. K-U-R-O-S. Wait. K-U-R-O-C-H-K-A.
Do you want to pin it?
.store. And if you go into blog, you'll find the pickled watermelon recipe. But yeah, no, I'll just share it with you guys. It's super easy. You cut up watermelon into slices like we're drawing here, and you put it in a jar with a bunch of spices. It varies. So
How pickled do you want
it's
it?
pretty, yeah. So there's salt. I think you have to. I mean, really check the recipe, but it's like, I don't even want to lie about it. I'm gonna look it up during the next time I take a break. But you put salt. So one thing that I like to put is jalapenos to make it a little spicy.
Ooh.
It doesn't like a little spicy.
You put equal parts salt and sugar and water. It's really like Russians always cook na glass, like by eye, so it doesn't really matter, is my point.
There's never exact
What's the
measurements.
URL again?
Kurочка?
What's the after that?
.store.
.store.
Yeah, makes it easy.
What's the spelling? K-U-R-O-C-H. Yeah.
So I'm just laying down the paint here and just going in different directions, varying up the green a little bit. So I'm using a little bit more yellow in my green. I'm using a little bit more blue.
So not the same shade.
Yeah, so it's
I see.
different shades of green. And I probably should have mentioned this in the beginning, guys, but just remember that this is your painting, so feel free to change up the colors and use bluish shades for the background if you want. So if you want to make it more of a sky blue as opposed to greenery in the background, you could totally do that. or even pink or purple or whatever colors you like. Just probably not red, because then you won't be able to see the watermelon.
True.
And I'm actually getting a little bit darker with my green around the edges of my canvas. And just remember, guys, that with acrylic paint, you can't really mess up because you could just cover it up with more paint. So I just created some dark shades around this part of the canvas, but I kind of want it to be lighter. So all I need to do is just go back into it with my other color. So I'm mixing a lighter green and just going right over it with my other color and just completely covering it up. So it's super easy, and I'm just playing around with the different colors.
I pinned the thing, hopefully.
You know, there is a thing that I noticed though, tell me if you ever feel this way, where you're painting and it feels good, but then sometimes the painting goes through these phases where it's just looking really bad, on its way to another phase where it's going to start looking good again. It's just like part of the process. But you know, like those are a little bit difficult, I think, those moments, because you're like, oh, this is turning on me.
Yeah, I think we go through these
You know?
moments a lot, and usually by the last step, that's where it starts to all come together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And then I just try to think about, like, what's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is you're just not going to hang it in your room, you know? And that's it. So you could take just straight up yellow if you want, and you could just add it to your background, and it'll automatically blend with the green and become a lighter green. So mine is all looking kind of almost one color, so I'm just gonna try to vary it up a little bit more and add some lighter green into mine. Alex, did you catch if there were any interesting cocktails in the mix? I
think
see
there
a
were
lot of
more
water.
interesting locations than cocktails.
Okay.
But if
I'll take
anyone
that.
would like to share their interesting cocktail, we are open to hearing the creative nature of our group.
you could also share what you're having for dinner. I actually love hearing people's meals.
But we had some delicious stuff.
Yeah.
I thought so.
And it's okay, guys, if you go right into your watermelon by accident and change up the shape of it a little bit, because we're gonna cover it up with red anyway.
The good thing about that paint, right? Paint right over it. No?
I feel like acrylic paint gets a bad rap, but I've really grown to appreciate it lately.
Why does it get a bad rep?
I don't know, I feel like artists kind of judge it a little, like, oh, acrylics. You know, I'm doing a snobby face, you can't see it.
For all those that can't, it was well done.
So the lesson there is that you shouldn't listen to artists.
Yes. So I'm just layering more and more paint onto my background, and it's just kind of all blending together.
I'm trying to figure out how you got those colors in your like test one, the main one, the model painting. I don't know what you call it. It's almost like neon, like a neon green yellow.
So I
Very
think if you
beautiful.
add more white to it,
White and yellow.
you can get that color.
This sounds delicious. Are you ready for this one?
Mm.
Cucumber pear margarita with a.
Ooh.
I'm so going to mispronounce this, but a tagine rimmed glass.
A tahine.
Tahine
That's my
ref-
favorite. That's like that chili lime kind of.
Ooh,
thing.
that's delicious. Well played,
Ooh.
madame.
Hold on, that sounds
Well played.
very good.
This wasn't recommended to us when I did my poll.
What? Oh.
Oh,
Someone's holding out. I'm just layering.
Totally.
It's very meditative. But like, how do you know when you're done layering?
are you ever really?
You know, that's a question that I get a lot, and
Yeah.
you kind of just have to
Sorry.
feel it in your heart. You just kind of know. But also, I feel like you can never be done. You could just paint it in a year, you know, and just keep adding more to it.
Evolving.
The timeline landscape.
So as you guys probably noticed, I'm using pretty little water with this. I don't know, Yana, if you are, but I'm barely.
Yeah, barely.
I don't think I even dipped my
Actually?
brush into water yet.
Okay.
So it's kind of just all blending together without much water.
Yeah, it's creating a pretty thick layer.
Ellen's joining us with a little watermelon. We have a gin and tonic with watermelon.
Ooh.
That sounds delicious.
Watermelon basil and a slice of lime.
Ooh,
Yes,
watermelon basil.
Sir Mary. Well done.
So this is totally optional, guys, but you could take your sponge, and I'm actually gonna dip it a little bit into the water because my water's still clean.
There you go.
And you could try blending this with your sponge a little bit. So you could take some of your green. So I'm just gonna mix some green with my sponge. And I'm only putting just a little bit on it. And then I could just dab. This is gonna be loud. So I'm just gonna dab my sponge here, and it's creating this blending effect, which looks really cool. And then the more I dab, the more blurry it gets. So I could also take a lighter green. And I could add some lighter green into here. super loud.
I have a rickety easel, so I'm trying to spare you guys.
Are you dabbing all over the place or just like along the border of the watermelon?
So I'm kind of dabbing all over the place and just seeing what it looks like. So you could experiment with yours, but yeah, it's just kind of blurring it in a really cool way.
I like it. I like it a lot.
And then you could continue adding more darks into your background, more lights, maybe even try experimenting just with white and just adding a little bit of white into your background as well. And then maybe, this is totally experimental, I could make a more bluish green. Let's see what I get. And add more of a bluish green tone in there as well. And see what happens, and if you don't like it, you could just cover it up. So I'm gonna add a little bit of this bluish green color in here, because why not?
Because why not?
And then maybe a little bit of white. And then some yellow, so feel free just to go crazy with your background, and then you could just blend it with your sponge. So I'm just taking my sponge and I'm just blending all these colors together.
I apologize.
Do you not like your blending?
No, I just made a sound. I just hit my ring on the table. No, I, it's like sometimes you have to sit back a little bit and just like take in what you're even doing, and like let your brain process it for a second.
Steep. I like it.
All lessons that apply to art apply to life also.
So this bokeh effect is super fun, and it's just, you could really go bokeh.
Okay.
Bokeh. I hope I'm pronouncing it
Like a
correctly.
bouquet, but a bouquet?
Yes.
Bokeh. Is that what you were expecting it to be spelled like?
Maybe.
It's Japanese.
Then yes. Was maybe some craziness could have been thrown in where actually the first part was like spelled out as bow.
Yeah. I mean, if it was a French word, it definitely would have had like 8 letters.
Right. But now that you say that it's Japanese, this spelling makes actually a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I've been concentrating so hard I forgot to sip my drink.
Right? You guys have delicious drinks. How are they?
So good. If I may say so myself.
So we have a question. Would you like me to read it?
Sure.
There's a repurposed canvas being used. Seems the sponge is picking up too much paint. How else can one blend?
So you could use a blender brush if you have one. So it's more of a round, thicker brush. So that usually helps with blending. And you could also try using the sponge, but just not going so hard. So just go a little bit easier on the canvas, and that might blend it a little bit better.
But is the question that it's repurposed and it's picking up the old paint?
So I've had that happen with my sponge before, and usually
Specified.
I would put gesso, so several layers of gesso on the canvas to cover up the previous paint, so just that it's a fresh slate of paint.
You have that with acrylic?
Yeah. So I do that over my old canvases. So I just put gesso and then I just paint right over it. And also, guys, all the supplies that I'm using today is exactly what I send you in my Creatively boxes. So I'm not using anything different here. So all the brushes, all the canvas, all the colors of paint are exactly the same as what I send you.
The magic sponge too.
And the magic sponge too. My favorite part.
Oh, I forgot to tell you that my friend finally signed up for a Creatively subscription.
No
she got
way.
her first box last month, and she's had a great.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Shout out to Julie if you're watching.
So for those of you guys who don't know, we actually have monthly subscriptions. So if you sign up, you get a new beautiful painting every month that comes with all the supplies you need, all the colors that you need, step by step, really easy to follow instructions, and then a sample piece delivered right to your door. And we also do these monthly tutorials on the first Tuesday of each month.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's a super fun subscription, I would say.
Absolutely.
Not biased at all.
Absolutely. Plus, who doesn't enjoy our company? We're a hoot.
Hoot and a half.
A hoot and a half.
And if you guys want to check it out, it's creativelybox.com. You could actually see my hashtag at the bottom of the screen, and it's the same website URL. So if you want to check out some other paintings that we have some really awesome options, especially for the summer.
There you go.
So guys, we are gonna get to probably my most favorite part of this tutorial. We're gonna get a little bit messy. So I am gonna take my finger and I'm gonna dip it into white paint, and we are gonna create this beautiful, I guess it's a circle, bokeh effect. So we're just gonna take our finger and we're gonna add some circles to this background. So I'm gonna start with white, and I'm just gently gonna press my finger against the canvas and see what happens.
Love it.
I'm
agree with-
observing the demonstration.
I agree with Ida. Finger painting rules.
When was the last time you guys finger painted?
I can sadly, honestly say it's been like over 2 decades. There's zero chance this happened in my teens. Unfortunately.
Oh, I actually did it at the last Creatively one.
Yeah, the
with
Winter Cardinal.
The
Yeah.
Winter Cardinal.
Yeah, it was a similar
So
effect.
really, Creatively is fulfilling 100% of my finger painting needs at this time.
Wow, why don't we just rub it in, huh? Like, oh yeah, I did mine last week. That's cool.
That was back in the winter.
So I'm adding these dots to my canvas, and I'm just varying up their sizes a bit. So some of them are smaller, some of them are larger. You could actually also use your pinky for the smaller ones.
Excited for
Are you?
like very much. See your drink.
blend
We're
so well.
inspired.
But you know, the background is just as fun, if not more. And you just have to wait a little bit.
They do say patience is a virtue.
Said that.
Wise people said that.
What wise guy?
A wise person said that one time, okay? There's no need to call anyone out specifically.
Okay, so Paula said she finger painted 4 years ago. Okay, that's not bad.
Worse.
Could be never. So I'm just spreading out some of these dots, and some of them are even overlapping each other and just getting really close together.
Jeanna asks, is that white paint?
Yes,
that
I'm
you're putting
using
on?
white paint right now. Some of the lighter ones, I'm just taking my finger and I'm just spreading the circle around just on the canvas. And it becomes a lighter circle. So just have fun with it, experiment, and the worst thing that could happen is you'll just cover it up with the green paint.
The creative side run loose. You know.
You know, another thing that I discovered about myself the first time I did a creatively painting is that I'm actually a lot more tight and rigid and afraid of freedom than I thought I was. Because I was like, that's it, like, you're like, I'm taking this pledge to be creative, and that's the whole thing, and then you're always encouraging us to like try different colors and things. And I was like, no, I must follow this thing exactly. I must put every single fingerprint exactly where you're putting it. So that's like, I think this is good practice.
So you broke the pledge, basically. That's what you're saying.
That's
Wow.
it's a learning experience.
Now, progress is a slow process.
Marina's a harsh teacher.
I can tell you who said that one.
No, I like that. Discipline.
Well, it was the great philosopher 50 Cent.
What did you say?
The great philosopher 50 Cent said that in his song.
Wait, 50 Cent said patience is a virtue?
No, patience. Progress is a slow process.
That's true. It is. I mean, it's not really. It's just that's how long it takes. It takes as long as it takes.
Very true.
I'm just adding more and more of these dots and just overlapping some of them, making some a lot bigger than others.
So beautiful. I'm looking at them now. They look like bubbles.
Yeah.
Like, what are they called? When you blow bubbles.
So you could also take some yellow
Well, now.
and add a little bit of yellow bubbles in here as well.
We're just going wild, aren't we?
We're just going crazy.
We're just going rogue.
And Yana, I think to your point, I find that adults are way more critical of themselves than kids.
Oh,
Kids
yeah.
are always like, they could smear, red paint all over their canvas and be the happiest with their creation. And then adults are just a lot more rigid, and it's harder for them to let go and enjoy the process.
Yeah, I'm actually very curious about that. Like, that's such a almost universal experience, I think. Like, a lot of people talk about that, and it's like, I would love to pinpoint where it all goes wrong. What happens?
Probably when you start school and then you have to follow
Yeah,
rules
just
and
follow the rules.
yeah. How's your painting coming along so far? Because I can't see it.
Yeah. I think you're
I'm
gonna
so
be very
excited to see the
proud.
final product.
I could have had myself. I have to be.
Yeah, Alex is peeking. It's not fair.
Yep. He's got it right. About third grade. That's the last time I had finger paint. But mentally, I'm doing so right now. So, that
So
counts.
Josephine said that she adds a little bit of water into the paint. Is that for your finger painting or that's for the background? Super curious.
I'll try putting my.
Yeah, because
Finger in the
my paint is getting a little dry on my finger.
Oh, Josephine. Hashtag pro tip.
Finger painting pro. Hey Alex, did you actually have art classes when you were in school? Like, do you
Yeah.
remember them?
Of course. I had to. It was one of the things that I struggled with. I clearly remember it in every single grade.
Well, now's your chance.
I remember up until high school, and then I was allowed to change art for chorus. For some reason, I thought that was a good idea. It was not. It was not.
So were you
I went
worse
back.
at art or at chorus?
No, it was a strong competition. Let me tell you that, first of all. It was neck and neck till the end, but of course, one out of things we shouldn't do.
Being good is not the.
Self-awareness. I know what I shouldn't do. Chorus is not the place for
No,
me.
you know you shouldn't make a career out of if you want to pay your bills, but
There you go.
no, doing artistic things, it's good. It's good for your neural pathways.
It's good for stress.
It's good for the soul.
Good for the soul.
Gives you something to do.
Hmm?
Gives you something to do.
Yeah. So this is a bit of an experimental step, but you could take your sponge and you could try to dab some of these bubbles just to maybe blur them a little bit with the background.
Whoa.
So we're gonna try to see what happens, and it might not be such a good idea, but we'll just experiment a little bit.
We'll just let it,
Yeah.
Why not, right? Hashtag art.
Well, this is definitely
Is it helping a little bit?
major hashtag art. I don't know. I mean, I'm trusting the process. Getting somewhere. Doesn't matter.
How's everyone doing with their backgrounds?
I wonder if anyone went with a different color into their backgrounds. We always have
I hope so.
a couple rogue.
And we always ask you guys to please share what you created on social, so either on Facebook or Instagram, and then use hashtag creativelybox
Tag us.
for a
Yeah.
chance to be featured and for us to check out your work. We would love to see it. So I think I'm gonna move on to my next step. How are you guys doing?
I'm ready.
Okay. So I'm just gonna wash my brush. And before I do that, guys, I do want to mention again that we may or may not have a giveaway later tonight. So the way that you enter the giveaway is by commenting in the chat. So we are going to pick someone from a random comment picker online. So it's going to be totally random. And if you're commenting more in the chat, you probably have a little bit more chances of winning. And I'll let you guys know what the giveaway is in a little bit.
I'm trying to get to the watermelon at the bottom of my drink without slurping too loudly. It's proving really difficult.
So we are going to use some brown. And I'm just going to paint horizontal strokes from the bottom of my canvas going up right into the green.
Oh, we're just going.
And this is going to be the wood table in the painting.
Just fearless right into it.
Just right into it.
I like it.
And you could use a little bit of water just to make your paint blend a little bit better on the canvas. Oh, I love that Shivani used pink for her background as well, for the dots.
Spin.
Oh, that must look really good.
Oh, Josephine, I'm sorry. That probably looks so awesome. So I'm going right into this green right here, and I'm kind of even going right up and mixing them together. So it's kind of blending the green and the brown. So you can't really see where the table begins or ends or...
Oh, so are you adding more green to that, like the top of the brown area?
No, so I'm just going right with the brown into this green and just taking it up a bit.
It's already kind of.
But if
dried
it's dry, you could always take the green and just add it back.
Mm-hmm.
And just blend the two together a bit. So that way it looks like it's kind of blurring in the background a bit. So again, guys, if your paint is dry, you could always just take the green and you could add it back in to where your brown meets the green, so the two colors blend a little bit.
Ooh, we have. Giovanni did say though she's going to sponge the brown.
Oh, that would be a very interesting texture.
Intrigued I am.
Please show us.
We have a definite pro tip from Trish, my apologies. Used a rubber glove for the dots. Save the
That's
manicure.
a great idea.
Save the manicure. Trish, that's a grade A pro tip. Well done. That's a not first timer right there.
Yeah, I could have used that tip minutes ago.
So my background actually looks super dark on the screen, but it's actually a lot lighter in person. Super weird. So I'm gonna take some white. I'm actually gonna switch brushes. So I'm gonna wash this one out
We're going to the small one or to the larger one?
to the small one.
To the small guy.
So I'm gonna take some white and I'm gonna mix it with the brown, and then I'm just gonna add some lighter variations to my wood. So I'm just adding in some lighter lines in here. So if your lines come out too light, you could always go back in with the brown, or if they come out too dark, you could always mix more white into your color. So just experiment, play around with it, and see what color you get. So I'm just adding a few lines just to give my wood a bit of texture.
The small brush is a size 4.
Yes.
Thank you.
And your lines don't need to be perfectly straight, because with wood you always see curvy lines in there.
If anybody's painting has into the bad direction, just know that I'm right here with you. I'm trying to salvage it.
It all comes around in
It's
the
gonna,
end.
yeah, it'll be. I have faith.
It's the process.
So I'm just adding some random lighter lines into my wood, and then I'm gonna add a few darker lines into my wood as well. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of black and I'm gonna mix it with the brown to get just a darker brown color. And I'm just gonna add a few of the darker lines as well. And it's a bit hard for you guys to see these lines, but they're in here.
Someone asks if they accidentally, their watermelon edge is now straight, they painted over the curve of the brown, how would they fix it?
So you would just paint the lighter part of the watermelon in a few steps from now. So when we do that part, you would just paint right over the brown, and hopefully your background's gonna be dry enough so that way that color will be seen. So I would just not touch the background where you want your watermelon piece to be, and then you'll add it back in with the paint. So don't worry about it at all.
Love it. Good stuff.
So we're actually gonna be at that step in a couple of minutes.
The fruit?
The fruits, the flesh.
Don't
The
you?
flesh
don't
of the
you tease me.
watermelon.
I've been waiting for the red of the watermelon. So excited.
Why aren't you as excited about the background is my question. Like, why is
It's
the
not a
watermelon
competition.
exciting to you?
It's not a competition. Maybe just.
I want
speaks to
just
me.
as much excitement about the background.
Speaks
I
to
was
me.
very excited about
Good.
the. Is red your favorite color, maybe?
No.
Did everyone have a happy 4th of July? Did anyone do anything fun? Did anyone eat a lot of really delicious food?
I ate a bunch of.
Were they delicious?
Yeah, they were pretty good.
There you go. Some high quality stuff. We had some fun.
We did.
Danced away.
What's the best song? What's your favorite song?
Well, I don't think I have a single song.
Well, Alex is the dancer in our relationship, so I'm gonna let you answer that one.
I don't really have a favorite song. I go when the beat starts going. Can't even help myself. Just takes over. Oh, that sounds lovely. Lake and barbecue. Oh, wow. I had it coming in strong. Picnic at the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
That sounds amazing.
Least ironic, we went to the lake and ate watermelon. In preparation for this painting, obviously.
Gotta get inspired. I accidentally got red on my brush and now it's everywhere. So I'm really having a rough time today.
Right, so we are gonna get into the flesh of the watermelon. Are you ready, Alex?
I was born ready.
So this is a super easy step. We are just gonna paint the watermelon in red, but I'm gonna leave the bottom, so the rind, I'm just gonna leave that part for now. So I'm just gonna paint everything but the bottom. So I'm just gonna create another curve over here and then just paint everything else in red. And this is the part where you guys could change the shape of your watermelon. So if you want it to be a little bit bigger, if you want it to be indented in certain places, I don't know if that made any sense,
yeah,
but if you wanted to
like
have maybe a
more.
bite out of it, you could totally play around with the shape here in this step. So Lynn is asking, where can you get the paper instructions you see on the right here? So this actually comes with our Creatively box. So if you purchase a box with all the supplies that you need to create this painting, it actually comes with a really easy step-by-step that you could follow, and a sample piece as well.
So hold on. You telling me all I have to do is order a box and I get all that?
Exactly.
Don't you fib to me. Is this just a red or what shade of red would we call this?
So this is actually a fire red that we're using, but
Fuego,
if you're
as some
using
might say.
you can totally use a different shade of red. And actually your lines shouldn't be perfectly straight. So you could make them a little bit curvy just because the watermelon is never just a perfect triangle.
Nature.
Exactly.
You know.
So I'm gonna wash my brush. And I'm gonna add some white to the bottom of my flesh. If that's what it's called. So I'm laying it on kind of thick because my red paint is not dry yet. So I want to make sure that the white is still seen. So I'm just adding it with my brush and then just kind of bringing it up a bit into the red.
So you're creating kind of a gradient.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just blending right in, and you could always just take the red and just go over the white if you maybe extended too far or you want to cover up some of your white. So I could just take the red and just cover up some of it right here. So it's pretty subtle. It's a bit hard to see, but it's just getting a little bit lighter towards the bottom. Okay, so I'm gonna wash my brush again, make sure that it's super clean. And then I'm gonna paint the rind just with white. So I'm just gonna take the white and I'm gonna start from the bottom. And it's a bit hard to see in this stuff just because it's already white, but I'm just going right over the canvas. And into the red. So you're gonna see it's gonna blend a little bit. So it's just blending right in with the red paint. And you could take your small brush if you want and just add some detail to the sides. So if you want to just add more white to the side of your watermelon just to define that edge, you could do that here. So if you guys added maybe too much white to a certain section, or if your red extended over to the section that you might want in white, you could always just wash your brush and just go over it with that other color that you want. So just play around with it. The worst that could happen is you could do another layer and just cover up whatever you just did.
No harm, no foul.
Exactly. So while my paint is still wet, I'm gonna take a little bit of the green and I'm gonna add it to my rind. So I'm gonna mix some white right into my existing green color. So if you guys still have it on your palette, you could use that, or you could just remix it again. So I'm gonna do some yellow and some blue, and then add a lot of white to it. So it's gonna be very, very light, almost white. So I don't think you guys can see what I'm mixing, but it's almost a white color. And I'm just gonna add it to the bottom of my rind. And blend it right into the white. So if your two colors are not blending together like mine, you could always just go back in with the white and just go right over it, and then those two colors will blend. It's actually, it's hard to see on my screen, the light green. But it's there, guys, I promise.
And vouch.
It was done so subtly.
Yeah, it's super subtle. It's just at the bottom of your rind. It just gets a little bit more green. And you could always just go over it with white just to blend these two colors together. Okay, so I'm gonna wash my brush again.
How's your water? Dirty?
It's pretty pink right now,
Mine too.
like pinkish brown. And then I'm gonna make a dark green. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of blue and a little bit of
blue.
the phthalo blue. I'm gonna use a little bit of yellow. And I'm gonna create the bottom of my watermelon. So it's just gonna be the same curve that I initially drew. It's gonna be a pretty thin line. Going all the way around. All the way around, just the bottom part, not the entire watermelon.
Just the crust, so to speak.
Yes. Okay, so Alex, did I show our next month's painting?
Let me think about that. Yes. Yes, you should.
Okay. Okay, guys, so before I go on to the next step, I want to show you what we have for the month of August. So this is going to be the tutorial for the first Tuesday of August.
Ooh.
It's actually on a smaller size canvas, but it's going to be on a 12 by 12. So this is actually our next painting. And I had a little bit of a hard time naming this one. So it's all over our website. So the name is everywhere, but if you guys come up with a better name, you get extra brownie points. Also, you might get more chances of winning the giveaway, which I haven't announced yet. But yeah, if you have a better name for this, definitely let us know in the chat. So what I named it is, ready for this? Bouquet all day.
No, I really think it's not that bad.
Do you? Okay, well, if you guys come up with something better, please let us know.
Guys, please help.
Please help.
We need your creative spirits.
Yeah, now that everyone's all fired up and they're all pumping, they're going at full, like, maximum creativity.
We do like puns, just saying.
We do appreciate a good pun.
Gotta respect a good fun.
So this painting comes with our August box. It comes with all the supplies that you need in a really pretty box with the step-by-step instructions, the sample piece, a link to our video tutorial. And yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, so check it out. It's on our website, creativelybox.com. All right, so we are gonna move on to the shadow underneath the watermelon. You ready?
Yeah. I've just been fixing mistakes this entire time.
There's no such thing.
No, I know. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm learning. There are no mistakes, but I still.
So I'm gonna mix some black with brown. And I'm just gonna create a line right underneath my watermelon. So just start kind of thin, and then you could make it thicker as you go. So it'll be right underneath here. And you actually can't really see it on my screen, but I'm gonna try to make it darker.
Bloom all day.
What is it?
We have one recommendation of bloom all day.
Bloom all day.
Interesting. Very similar to the original, I would say. So I'm just adding this shadow here, and I could also take my brown, so I'm gonna wash my brush, and I could go over some of the parts of my shadow with the brown just to kind of blend it into the background a little bit. So I could take some brown and I could just apply it a little bit over some of the black. And it's just making this shadow just a little bit more subtle in places. And maybe I'll do that on the other side as well. So I'm just taking some brown and I'm just applying it a little bit over the black. And if I covered up too much of it, I could always go back in with the black and just go right over it. So it's super easy.
Crazy how the shadow immediately adds
So much
dimension.
depth, right? So it's already looking pretty 3D here.
Loving it.
All right, guys, so I'm gonna take my small brush and I'm just gonna wash it to make sure that it's super clean. And then I'm gonna take my white paint and I'm just gonna add some small circular strokes to my watermelon to create this really juicy effect.
Oh wow.
The juiciness. You ready for this? So I'm just gonna start at the top and I'm just barely applying pressure to my canvas. And just creating these small circular, almost like dot-like shapes. So they're almost like small little dots. And they're kind of going just up the watermelon a bit. So I'm just making them on the sides of my watermelon for now, and then I'll probably add some to the middle as well. So I'm just skipping around, I'm leaving some spaces here and there and just adding a little bit of this juicy effect. So if you don't want it to be too, I guess, stark is the word, you could actually blend the white with the red to make it pink instead of white, and that way it'll look a little bit less bright. I don't know why I'm looking at Yana as I say this. That's bright.
If I'm gonna give you the word.
Hopefully. So I'm just adding more and more of these little squiggles. So if you want to cover up some of these, you could also just take your red and just go right over it. It's almost like whiteout. You could just cover up some of these dots if you place them in a place that you don't want them to be in, or you made them too bright. You could always just go back in with red and just completely cover it up. So you could add as much or as little juiciness as you want to this. Yana, I really want to peek at yours.
Listen, a lot of
Listen,
things.
it's your choice.
The great Jackson, artist 50 Cent Jackson said, "Patience is a virtue."
That wasn't it.
What I learned today. I don't know, guys. I don't know about you.
Might have been the progress process. But all wise men said wise things, right? He's a philosophizer.
Ooh. I don't know if you guys could hear this, but it's raining so hard out the window right now.
Maybe raining in the.
And this is just a really nice thing to do on a rainy day on a Tuesday. I forgot that it's Tuesday for a second.
I know.
Going up on a Tuesday.
So when I created this painting, I actually showed my mom right afterwards, and I was like, "Mom, what do you think of this new painting?" And she ruined it for me a little bit. She actually said, she's like, "Don't you see the face in here?" So she pointed out that these seeds create a face, and I actually didn't notice this until she pointed it out, and I can't unsee it anymore. So it's basically, it's two eyes, a nose, and a mouth, and now I just can't unsee
Yeah.
it.
So when you're painting your seeds, just be cognizant of the placement, because you'll never unsee them.
So your placement will hopefully be very different from this placement. Or if not, I mean, if you're fine with the face, that's totally cool.
Who doesn't like a dog-faced
Who doesn't like a
watermelon?
dog-faced
Yes.
watermelon? Exactly. That is a very fair point. Okay, so I'm gonna take my small brush and I'm gonna use my black color. And I'm just gonna create some of these seeds. So you could add as little or as many seeds as you want for your watermelon. So I'm gonna do the first one. So it's basically like a teardrop shape. So it's round at the bottom and then there's a point at the top. And you could start small and just get bigger. So if I want to make my seed a little bigger, I could just make this teardrop. Just extend the strokes of this teardrop. With my brush.
We're all over the place.
Alex, any good names in here for the painting?
There hasn't been too many suggestions, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Maybe everyone's just busy painting their
Maybe.
dog watermelon at the moment.
Nobody can top bouquet.
I mean, I thought it was pretty great when I came up with it. Okay.
Are you having a second?
Maybe for a second. Flower power. Ooh.
That's a good one.
Like flower.
Ooh. That means I would have to change all my links.
That is.
Ooh, but I do like that. So Connie, I'm actually seeing a name for this painting, but we are actually coming up with names for this painting. And this is our August box.
Ooh,
So,
bouquet.
ooh, I'm holding it not the right way, it's this way.
Bouquet
Bouquet all day.
all day.
So we're looking for other name suggestions, perhaps. So if you have one, let us know in the comments. All right, guys. So Alex, what do you think of doing the giveaway before we do this little seed opening?
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah?
So I think we're gonna do it, guys. You all showed up. It's raining all day. It's a Tuesday night. We're super excited. So we are gonna do the giveaway. So the way that it works is we are gonna pick a random person from our comments. So we're gonna use a random comment picker for this one. So it's online. It's totally random. We don't know who it's gonna be. The one thing that I will say is that we're only able to ship nationally. So if you're located in the US, we're able to ship to you. If you're not located in the US, we do have some digital options that we could potentially send to you. So
And we're working there. We're working to get it.
we are working there. So the giveaway for tonight.
Dun dun dun.
So it'll be a creatively box of your choice. So you get to go on our website, you get to pick any painting of your choice. We have a bunch of different options. And we are gonna include 2 sets of brushes with this box. So it's gonna come with all the supplies, 2 brushes, step-by-step instructions, link to a video tutorial, sample piece, and shipped right to your door. So it could also be our latest painting, which is the August box, which is not out yet. So it's totally up to you. So you guys ready? This is gonna take a minute. So I am gonna find the link for the stream.
The brand box, if I were.
That's a good suggestion.
There's a
I'm
lot of
down
good
for
ones.
it. Okay, so I got the link. I'm putting it in the random comment picker. I'm so nervous.
Beauty and bloom.
I know. I have to log in here in order to do this.
Oh my god. They make it so
The
The
difficult.
suspense is killing me.
Did everyone know that the comments are the way to enter?
Yes, I hope so.
That the more you comment,
Well,
the more entries you have?
there's always next
So,
time.
so we have almost 300 comments. So I'm about to press start raffle and pick random winner. Okay, you guys ready? And again, if you guys missed it, we are giving away a Creatively box. Oh my god! So the winner is Jana Bale.
Woo!
Jana Bale. Woohoo! Congratulations. So,
Congratulations, Shauna.
Sean, I hope that you're located in the US. Awesome. And Jana has actually been a longtime customer of ours, so I'm super excited for this. Awesome. Okay, you guys ready
For the next step,
for the next step?
I am ready. What's the next step? I'm very excited for the giveaway.
Jana never really won anything. Okay, so I'm gonna take my small brush and I'm gonna create a dark red color. So I'm just gonna take my red and I'm just gonna mix a little bit of black to it. And I'm gonna show you guys what I'm mixing. So it's just gonna be a little bit darker than your flesh color. So then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna draw out the seed where I want, I guess, the empty pocket for the seed. Is that what it's called? Does anyone have an official name for this seed pocket?
My pocket is great.
Yeah,
I love it.
that's what Alex came up with before. So in the instructions, I actually called it shadow for the mark where seed used to be.
Ever so concise and eloquent.
Alright, yeah, it just needed to be workshopped a little.
I just wanted to make it super clear.
Seed pocket was denied.
Seed pocket.
It's like a seed indentation.
Absolutely.
Your seeds
So-
are like 4 times bigger,
Are they?
for the
So,
record.
so you could actually make yours bigger if you want.
If I do.
Up to you.
Not everyone likes big seeds.
So I'm gonna add a little bit of red to my seed just because I made the pocket a little bit too dark. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of red just on the inside just to soften up the seed pocket a bit. So I'm just taking red paint and I'm just adding it to the middle. That was super easy. So then I'm gonna wash my brush again. And I still kept the dog face, by the way. I just couldn't help myself. So I'm just gonna wash my brush and I'm gonna take some white. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of white just around my seed on one side. So I'm barely applying any pressure to my brush and just barely creating this line on the outside of my seed. So I'm holding it up for you guys. So it's literally, it's on the edge of your seed, just on one side. So this is really gonna give it a really cool 3D effect.
Ooh. Who doesn't like that?
I don't know why I just washed my brush again. I didn't need to. So I'm also going to add some highlights to the rest of my seed. So I'm just going to take this white and I'm just going to add just a few curves here and there for my seeds. So I'm just creating a little curved line for the highlight. So if your highlights are looking too bright, you could always go back in with the black. So I'm just gonna add some black, and I might want to cover up some of this highlight. Just a little bit, just to make it a little bit more subtle. Covered it up too much. So now I'm gonna go back in with the white and I'm gonna just add it back in. So I think that may have been our last step.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, because the last step
Yes, exactly.
is to sign your name.
There you go. Gotta mark the painting.
Gotta mark the painting with your signature. Awesome job, guys. You did it. And please don't forget to share what you've created by tagging us on social with hashtag creativelybox. So you could show it off and we could see what you did.
See what I did?
Follow
Yes, I
you.
want to see what you did.
Follow us, show us.
I love it. Should I show it? Okay, so this is Yana's creation.
Yeah, you
gonna
can see
take
how
a-
much smaller my seeds are.
I love it, and I love that it looks so different from mine. Awesome job.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining. Don't forget to give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And we'll see you next time on the next Tuesday of the month, which is August. Bye, guys. Have a good night. Bye.